excited to be here, mostly because my girlfriend is pregnant, and it's quite exhausting to go out and grab jaws with pickles every second night, but also because I think it's so amazing to be here with you guys, a lot of other passionate people, analytics nerds. So for me, it's about inspiring each other. It's also getting wiser on this field of area where I find myself quite lonely sometimes, actually. I believe in the space and the field of people analytics, we are quite immature, actually. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, but most of you might, let's see if it works, the slides. Yeah. But most of you might think, who the hell is this guy up here? So Saranda, she asked me how to present me and how to pronounce my name. So my name is Stefan Sander Grods, but Grods is often pronounced Gross. So I try to avoid that in an international setup. So let's see if we are on the right. Oh, can you start from the beginning? That would be cool. So just from, yeah, perfect. So good. So Stefan Sander is my name. I have a master's in economics and human resource management. I have many challenges with this word, human resources, but I'm gonna get back to that. I work as a people and culture partner in MobilePay. I was the one doing the first people analytics team and built the first people analytics tool in Danske Bank. And that was 5 years ago. So as I said, we were quite immature. I am lucky enough to be able to be a guest lecturer at Copenhagen Business School, teaching some of the students about how we can improve organizational and team performance by the use of people analytics. This is a really big interest of mine. So I was asked if I could be very visionary today and tell some bright words about how I see the future of people analytics and HR in general. And I can tell you I cannot, because I'm definitely not the most clever person in here. But I want to share a little story with you guys. So this is me just after graduation. It doesn't look long ago, but it's actually quite some years ago. Just finished my master's degree in human resource management, trying to understand how to succeed with an agile transformation seen from an HR perspective. So me here, very passionate, very eager to get out in the big financial institutions to change the consciousness of the leaders, make an impact, and make a difference. So I was really, really excited. So this is obviously not me, but it's very similar to the feeling I had maybe approximately 1 year after being in one of the biggest banks in Denmark, because what actually affected me was that I was not being taken serious when working in HR, right? Some of you might recognize that as well. So when working in HR, you are often seen as some kind of joke, and maybe not being understood as a true professional that can make a difference for the business, right? And I think it's a fair point, actually, because what I found out was that the stuff that we do in HR, they typically stay in HR, right? So we have a lot of bright ideas. We sit up in our own ivory tower. We develop a lot of stuff. And then when we want it to live in the business, they say, what the hell is this that we are doing? That is not making money for us. So I was super, super frustrated. And I tried to understand, why is it that I do not get the buy-in from the senior leaders, especially in the business and in the IT? And I found out that because of what I presented was quite fluffy, it was really difficult for the people to understand. So I'm going to tell you how I see the HR world right now and what we are struggling with, what kind of challenges we have, but also how we can try to fix it. And some of you guys who's going to do keynote speaking the next 2 days is going to help all of us getting wiser on how we can build a good people analytics function and make sure that we use the data in a proper way. So what I found out was that we have what was considered to be HR data, right? And how I see it is that these two things, they are very polarized. On one hand, we have data, maybe saying something about a lower engagement score, a high attrition rate. And on the other hand, we have HR, so people like myself in the beginning seeing a low engagement score or perhaps a high attrition rate. So what do we think and what do we decide to do? We want to build a resilience program, right? We want to boost the resilience of the teams. So what happened was that it had absolutely zero impact on the teams that we worked with. And I think the major reason for that is that we do not use the data to understand the root causes for the low scorings or behind the data. So we need to improve on understanding the data by asking questions, by being curious. And to me, this is where people analytics comes into play. People analytics is taking the data to ask questions and understand the underlying behaviors and mechanisms in teams and organizations in general. To me, we have seen a lot of people analytics functions that is not people analytics functions, but it's basically just doing reporting in Excel, sending Excel sheets back and forth. And this is what we want to avoid. And this is what we're going to do the next 2 days. We're going to talk about not HR data, but people analytics, using the data to create valuable outcome for our business. So the challenge is, to me, that data is quite complex, right? And we have a lot of it. So I just have some few lines here that I want you guys to focus on and hopefully remember after the next 2 days. So if your data is complex, make it simple, right? Because if it's simple, then people will understand it. And if you make sure that people understand it, they can use it. And if the people are using it, then we are generating value. It starts with the beginning. If the data is complex, we need to make sure that we have a system that generates the right metrics. And that's why we have so many great partners here today that hopefully can tell us a lot about that. But it's also about making the data simple so we can ask the right questions. So we're not just handing over data to an HR partner that then does not understand the root causes behind the data, and we're going to look like a joke to the business. So it's about streamlining this process, I think. To me, this is what we need to do in order to avoid HR of becoming a joke in the future. And the first guy who's going to help us with avoiding that, he has a very short name, and his title for his speech is very, very long. It's Rich Bai from Workday. So please welcome Rich Bai on stage, and welcome to this year's Nordic People Analytics.